quick little rundown before we get going in the league. This 75 is brought to us from Wiltron92, who trophied a league earlier today with Grixis Shadow. Some of the interesting inclusions of the list. We've got the Moonshadow package, which I think is what I'm going to refer to as the 4 Moonshadow, 4 Mishra's Bauble, 4 Street Wraith. Obviously, Street Wraith good with Death Shadow anyway, but these 12 cards kind of like comboing together. We got extra value out of the Moonshadow package with Nethergoyf, a really good threat to get sizably ahead of curve with all of the free cantrips, Thoughtseize, cards like that. We've got our Counterspell package to keep us alive, keep our threats alive. 3 copies of Psychic Frogs, like our long grindy card with 3 expressive iteration. And then 4 Thoughtseize, 4 Death Shadow. We're going to get ourselves dead to get them dead. Seal of Fire, a few fatal pushes for rounding out the spot removal package. The Seal of Fire comboing with Nethergoyf, adding an enchantment to the yard. Also a permanent for Moonshadow triggers. Can hit yourself in a pinch to grow your Death Shadow. In the sideboard, we've got 2 Consigned to Memory, 2 Damping Sphere for like Tron, 2 Mystical Dispute, 2 Meltdown, Pyroclasm, Stern Scolding, Cling to Dust, Fire Magic, Spell Snare, Tarfire, and Vexing Bauble for the various threats that we will run into. So let's go ahead and jump. Actually, let's update the deck list on Moxfield before I forget. So this is Grixis Shadow, Voltron 92. Shock Battle Rage you or something. All right, so it says opponent's last seen on Goryo's Vengeance. We are on the play. I do not want to keep this hand. I would rather keep something more proactive. We don't have the ability to get a shadow online anytime soon. We don't have hand disruption. We would really need to find like land and Thoughtseize off of this Mishra's Bauble. So, pretty easy mull. Here, we've got double Moonshadow. We've got a Psychic Frog, Seal of Fire. We're definitely keeping. Opponent's on a mulligan as well. So if I go turn 1 Moonshadow, turn 2 second Moonshadow, Polluted Delta, or Polluted Delta, Fetch Shock, Psychic Frog. Are you going to play Pizza? What is Pizza? Is there literally a card called Pizza or something similar? Prismatic Ending, my Moonshadow. Okay. Counterspell's good. So I could get this Moonshadow potentially up to a 3/3 on my next turn. Or I could just play the Psychic Frog. You think still the Shadow? All right, we'll give it a shot. Spicy Oatmeal Pizza. 3 or 2 in a red. enters, it deals 4 damage to any target and 3 damage to you. So it's like a not char. What's the 2 flame rift? The 4 mana to you, 4 mana to me. Swing and a whiff from the archaeologist. Hitting a non-fetch land here kind of sucks. Like, I want the land drop, but I really want this to be a fetch. Solitude, Benning, and Atraxa. I'm pretty inclined to just let this go. Losing the Moonshadow sucks, but this is also a 5-turn clock. And if they're just going for this end of turn for no reason, I feel like I can get a better target for the counter spell. That being said, there's always the chance that they don't have a follow-up, and countering this Solitude could be pretty good if I can find a third land. Why are they going for this end of turn? I'm going to let this go. Does this just mean that their last 2 cards are Force and Negation blue card? That's kind of my guess here, is just Force blue card or the last 2. Or they just wanted to clear the way for Quantum Riddler. Get that out of here. Froggy Road, take me home to the place I get to do combat damage. Oh. How many times have I watched K-pop Demon Hunters? Only once, which is kind of depressing. It's a good movie. Okay. Do I just go ahead and expressive iteration now? Yeah, it would be to dig for push. Wraith to hand. Bauble to exile. See what you got. Another copy of Psychic Frog. Bless. Bless. Okay. I have a decision to make, though. If their last card is Ephemerate, then this Psychic Frog or this Fatal Push would be really, really awkward. I either have to play around Ephemerate or play around Force of Negation. I can't play around both. Is there any clue I have to make me think that they might have one versus the other? I think I'm going to go for the upkeep Fatal Push. We'll see what we draw, but this way, if they Ephemerate, if they force, they can't play the new frog. If they Ephemerate, then they can't attack. Instant can go. Land can go. Creature can go. Come on, Wraith. No. All right. So we know they have a Goryo's in hand now. More frogs. That's a pretty good draw. That is a very good draw. All right. Carry on. Discard Natraxa. Sure. Go for the Goryos. Here's a Stubborn Denial. So it's a forced jump across the board, right? If they want to play around like Street Wraith, Cycle, or I could discard the Shadow and grow the Nethergoyf. Yeah, so just going to go with the block across the board. I don't think playing out this other Shadow is worth it. All right. Esper Goryos. Spell Snare, Stern Scolding, Dispute, Cling to Dust. Some number of these cards. I accidentally purchased the Final Fantasy Death Shadow variant. Now I have hope in playing it in paper. Is that like the Rockstar one? Let's see. Or no, that's the Game Day one. Or are you talking about this one? Yeah, this is the Final Fantasy one, right? Just got the rock star pose like he's getting ready to hit the firest jams of 2026. All right. I got to sideboard some stuff out apparently. Seal of Fire on the weaker side. Can board out a Shadow and a Solitude matchup. I don't want to overboard here. Trim a push. They showed main deck Prismatic ending. Maybe I board out a second Shadow. Board out like a Wraith and a... maybe just two Wraith if I'm going down on Shadows that aggressively. But it could just be like an expressive iteration or a Nethergoyf. Give it a shot. Like the mystery booster too. That's the white border one, right? Or no, that's the future sight one. Yeah, those. That one's cool. I like that one a lot. If I was gonna run Moonshadow at the moment, I'd probably use that one. The future sight border with like Tarmogoyfs. They should make a double Phyrexian mana Thoughtseize. It's like Dismember, but Thoughtseize instead. I'd be down. We're just going to pass with Counterspell here. This is why we pass with Counterspell. Get on out of here. All right. What you got? Solitude, Wrath the Skies, Fatal Push. I kind of want to take Fatal Push and play Frog and just try to make them 2-for-1 themselves to answer the Frog. But they could just hit the land and hard cast the Wrath. That's fine. Either you hard cast the Wrath and I get to play Threat, hold up Counterspell, or you have to evoke Solitude off the Wrath, 2-for-1 yourself to get the Frog off the board. Kept a card on top. Or does not matter. Yep. They're not going to Wrath the Skies for 1. They put a card on top with the Surveil. Just play out the Moonshadow. They're going to have the Wrath regardless. Could just be 5th land. Yeah, they might want to go like 5th land, hard cast Solitude, untap Wrath. So give me a land. Give me a land. Land. Gonna be like this deck. Well, they're going to take a big chunk of damage here. We're going to get to counterspell this Solitude. They take 8, go down to 3. They untap in Wrath. We go to our turn, replay the Nethergoyf. Unless we just top deck a Stubborn Denial here. Make life easy. So close. Scoop because you're afraid I've got it. Not a chance. Why are you doing this? Why are you using 2 cards when you have the Wrath Disguise? Playing around Stubborn Denial by enabling Stubborn Denial and having to cast your other spell anyway. All right, you got me. Okay. I can cast Nethergoyf, put them on a 1-turn clock to have an answer. I can cast Moonshadow. They're on a 3-turn clock, but I have double counterspell. I think I'm going to do that. 3-turn clock, double counterspell, and if I just find like a fetch land, I've got counter, or they find a fetch land, that works too. Yeah, and we're gonna do the good old fashioned never tap off of counterspell. Wanna know, baby. This is where people start coming out of the woodwork like Death Shadow can't beat Solitude. Death Shadow doesn't exist because Solitude's a magic card. All right. Wooded Foothills. So Wooded Foothills. Mark coming in with a 10-month resub. Jeez. Thank you so much. Welcome back to the subscribers. Please build me a Sultai Ice Fang deck. I'll keep subscribing until you do. I don't think you understand what an ultimatum means. Okay, so Wooded Foothills. If you had said Wooded Foothills 4 years ago, I'd be like, oh, easy, Wrenn and 6, 100%. Nowadays it could be Storm, it could be it's probably not Boros Energy, could be Prowess, could be Zuya. Could be Eldrazi. Maybe I am just jamming. I'm going to jam a Nethergoyf here. I think Storm is the deck that punishes me the most if I jam Nethergoyf and tap off of Stub for a Ruby Medallion. But I think more of the other decks, I want the Nethergoyf down on turn 1. All right, so it's Zoo. Got a Scion. You have no Scion, and you're passing it back to me. You do have... No, they don't even have Leyline Binding mana. So I think this is just attack for 1, second Nethergoyf, seal, go. And just save the seal for a turn in case they have like a Ragavan. Seal protects Nethergoyf from a Flage here. When do you get a sword? That's a good question that I don't have a good answer for. Let me see what I can do. Hmm. I'm gonna have to figure that one out because I honestly don't know. All right, so there's Domain. For Kavu. Kavu pass. So I can attack into the Kavu and threaten Seal of Fire, sack. Drawing the Surveil land really sucks here. I would much rather have that Surveil land on top. I'd much rather have that Surveil land in the deck. This Math is tough. Math is tough. We're gonna... I was like counting the Nethergoyf being in the graveyard before the damage finished resolving. Had a word called what I missed. You missed us flooding pretty bad here and then me punting. I don't think it's a spot where it would have mattered. I think we're like pretty cooked this game regardless. But it was definitely a punt. Okay. Like fatal push Wraith. Nope. Flirted with the idea of replacing Blood Crypt with a blue-red Surveil land. Possibly. We'll just go to game 2. Needed that shadow sooner. All right, zoo. Zoo, 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 zoo. Signed memory, great. Everything else kind of mid. And Tarfire just to make Nethergoyfs a little bit bigger. Cling for Flage. That's fair. Stubs are okay, but kind of mid. Street Wraiths are kind of mid. Nethergoyf looks rough in the face of Kavus. Thoughtseize. Meh. I want like some number of Thoughtseize. I don't know if I want all 4 of them. Cut Wraith, Bobble, Thoughtseize. I kind of like the idea of cutting 2 Wraith, a Nethergoyf, and a Bobble. Or like 1 of each of these. But I could be wrong on Nethergoyf. Trim those. The old 5-lander plus a Wraith, eh? Pretty good 6. All right, I'm gonna go Blood Crypt Thoughtseize here, so I can get basic island frog next turn, unless I just see something I can kind of exploit. So we got Prismatic Ending, Kavu, Leyline Binding. I can take a removal spell so they can't answer my frog next, or they either have to choose between answering my frog or playing Kavu next turn. Or I could just take the threat and try to slow things down to where Stub trades 1-for-1 with one of these. I think I like that a little more. Now I'm probably just surveilling instead of frog. That can answer a Leyline Binding. Could also answer a Scion if they rip one off the top here. Yep. So I've got frog 3 discards. I could have frog consigned binding, stub prismatic ending next turn. Well, might make things a little more complicated. Okay. We surviving? Let's think. They do not currently have double white. We know 2 of the 4 cards in their hand. I could play out the frog. don't think I want to. Man, I need to get this frog down. I need to get the frog down, but I can only fight over one thing. Like, I can consign the leyline binding, but if they have another white card or white land, I don't have enough to discard 3 to the frog and stub. So I need them to just go for leyline binding and not have the white source. But we have to play the land in case they find some way to get Flage cast. Another Flage. Prismatic ending. So option number 1, I could discard 3 Stubborn Denial. Option number 2, I could counterspell. Option number 3, I just let this go, which at the moment is, I think I just let this go and say, like, I've got answers lined up for your threats. Because, yeah, that Flooded Strand, if I had gone for the counter spell and they would have had Flooded Strand, Leyline Binding, the Frog, and then I'm down counter spell and they've got Flage coming next turn, I don't think I have a chance against that. Not the time. Worst card in the deck. I'll save that for a frog. Opponent is not going for their Flage. Does that mean Doorkeeper Thrall, or are they just holding up Leyline Binding? Holding up Binding. So, hand, bottom, exile, and I'm just going to go ahead and play this out. I know they've got an answer for it with the binding, but I need to work through these answers at some point regardless. So if they want to binding it, cool. Got it. I don't want to tap off of Counterspell plus 1 more mana in case they have like Flage plus Mystical Dispute and I can stub the dispute, or Flage plus Soft Stubborn Denial and I can pay for the stub. you got? Bolt you, bolt you, bolt you. Doorkeeper Thrall is fine. Pending Purge, ley lines. We'll take Purge. Instant speed answer. Can I do anything with this shadow here? Not really. So just want to go shadow to hand, flooded strand to exile. Go. The problem I'm running into is they're going to have enough cards to just escape this Flage twice very quickly. And unless I find another counter spell, that's going to be problematic. You got it. Ow. Scion of Draco. So I know their last two cards are Leyline of the Guild Pack, Prismatic Ending. So we can consign the Scion. Play a shadow. Go ahead. If they go for Prismatic Ending, they only have 2 white sources. So if they go for Pending, they can't Flage here. How's Jund nowadays? Jund Shadow or like Jund mid-range? Because both, I'd say, are doing kind of rough. A little bit surprised by this attack. It's like you're staring down a shadow that could very well just kill you. All right, so I need to do 8 with this shadow. I'm not going down to 4 because I don't want to be dead to Doorkeeper Thrall attack plus another Flage or Lightning Bolt. I play out second shadow because I've got removal spell for Doorkeeper Thrall, counter spell for Flage. Leyline of the Guild Pack's a dead piece of cardboard. like opponent's avatar, this like capybara. Did they haste this? They did not. So I just let this go because you're on double chump block duty. Wait, then you're not even attacking with the Thrall? Why are we not attacking with the Doorkeeper Thrall? Do I have another shock land? Yes, there's another Watery Grave. So they're dead here because I can go Tar Fire one, untap, fetch shock, fetch off the other. I have counter spell. So Seal of Fire. I'm kind of trying to get away with showing them as little as possible. So they haven't seen Tar Fire. They have seen Seal of Fire. Little love tap. Little love tap with our shadows. Little 24 to the dome. Is there anything I want to change up? Like bringing Goyf back. Guess it stands in front of a Ragavan pretty well. I can get behind just like boarding out another Wraith. I kind of like keeping all the frogs in just because it is a card that can stand in front of a Scion if they have a ley line out. They might be able to kill it, obviously, but it can just jump up. Got some pretty land heavy hands. Don't do it. Don't do it. No. Deck. All right, who are we most okay throwing under the bus? I could just go for Thoughtseize here and say, like, I'm going to take the Ragavan hit. You're probably not going to hit something great off of me. And I can just follow up with Goyf Moonshadow next turn. Yeah, I think I like the Thoughtseize here. Gonna do this off Swamp. Drifter. All right, Ragavan, you've never hit anything relevant in your life. Ragavan hit Moonshadow. Yikes. You're going to kill one of these regardless of what I play out, so... Like, maybe I needed to just go double Moonshadow here and save the Nethergoy for after, like, one of these trades. Oh, my... No! No! At the double removal turn. That's so bad for me. That's so bad for me. Last card's Doorkeeper Thrall. Hit our Fatal Push off the top, which would have been pretty good. Wait. Wait, brothers. Hold. Hold everything. So we go Moonshadow. We fetch for an island. Play out Psychic Frog. Say go. Now I need you to draw dead. I need this to be a dead draw. Can you do that for me? You're not making this appear very dead. It feels like a lightning bolt. It feels like a lightning bolt, and it doesn't matter how I block. I'm dead to that. I think the play is to just double block the Moonshadow. Because, like, I could jump the frog, block the doorkeeper, block the Ragavan. But I still have to sit back and double block their Moonshadow. But if I block the double block the Moonshadow, I've got the same blocks next turn. But I get the biggest threat off the board. It also makes it so that technically I'm not dead to a Flage because they wouldn't get the ETB trigger. Not that I would be in great shape against a Flage, but they hit Tarfire so they can kill the Moonshadow. Tarfire me. Is it a bolt? Kavu. I don't know why they wouldn't just kill the Moonshadow there. Well, have to do something. I don't know what I can possibly hit, but all right, well, maybe could have fetched a little bit better earlier in that game. But feels like a game we should have won. I don't know. They had a lot of cheap interaction for a zoo hand. And that's not something you ever want to run into. Now, this is a shadow hand. This is what dreams are made of. Stomping ground. It's like creativity. What on earth is this? Discard Seasoned Pyromancer, Fable of the Mirror Breaker. I think I'm going to save the Fatal Push. I could discard it to get another point of damage off of the Nethergoyf there. But I want to hold on to it. It's Magic the Gathering. Some might question that. Main phase, fetch up a commercial district surveil. They have Delirium, so holding back for I have no idea what's going on, but I'm going to take a Traverse the Ulvenwald and play a Death Shadow and hope to all things just and holy that's enough to kill them. Apparently it was enough to kill them. Okay, so Griselbrand, Ice Till Explorer, Traverse the Ulvenwald. So it's like Gruul or Jund Delirium. I'm guessing there's Persist in here because they've got Faithless Looting Griselbrand. Or not Persist, but like Goryos or something. And like Traverse helps you find the Griselbrand, but what the fuck is happening? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, Omni shifting Woodlands. Oh, yes, of course. Omniscience shifting Woodlands. I knew that. How couldn't you tell immediately off the bat? It was Omniscience shifting Woodlands. It's so obvious once you say those words together in a sentence. I'm going to bring in a Tarfire because it speeds up the clock with Nethergoyfs. And I'm going to take the approach of this just being a balls to the wall, get them dead situation. So something between like Iteration or Psychic Frog I want to cut and just do this stuff. I don't think he knew it was Omni shifting Woodland. You would be correct. I did not know. I still don't know what that is. It sounds like an Aspiring Spike deck, though. If someone can confirm or deny, I would be interested in hearing. It is a spike deck. Shocker. I am both shocked and or appalled. Well, I can tell you pretty assuredly that Spike probably wasn't building this deck for 2017 Grixis Shadow metas. I've lost to it in paper before. Well, I'm going to do my damnedest to avenge you. Utopia Sprawl. Okay. Odds that I get Blood Moon on turn 2 out of the deck playing a card that gets shut off by Blood Moon. Because I would like to get this Nethergoyf down. Utopia Sprawl is naming red. A lot of times you see Utopia Sprawl in Basic Forest in Blood Moon decks. So I guess I'm going to be the responsible human being and play around Blood Moon. Partially. I do not particularly want that Moonshadow. We could still stub a Fable even if it's not Blood Moon. We could. I wouldn't feel particularly great about stubbing a Fable. I also really wish that this Steam Vents were in my deck and not in my hand. So that I could have, so that I could fetch for Steam. I shuffled you away. You stupid thing. Stupid piece of cardboard. I wish the Steam Vents were in my deck because I would love to get Steam Vents here and be able to tar fire to set up turn 2 Nethergoyf with Stubborn Denial backup. I honestly think the Bobble Shuffle is bugged on Moto. It happens to me all the time. I believe it. You see this shit? I shuffle you away and draw 2 of you? If this isn't blasphemy, I don't know what is. Blasphemy of the highest order. I swear. Bugged, I tells ya, bugged. All right, well, there's Omniscience. The Deck is spoken, cast the Moonshadows. I'm not going to be alive long enough to cast the Moonshadows. I'm what the kids call aggressively dead unless they just have nothing to do off this omniscience. So ironically, they do still have to pay for... Alright, so they've got something to do off omniscience now. They just get Griselbrand. Ice Till Explorer, really? Is that better than Griselbrand? Unless they just like already have Griselbrand in hand. Alright, here's a Moonshadow. Here is a Death Shadow. And here's me seeing how dead I am. Yep. Ah. I see. That is significantly different from the Griselbrand that you showed me game one. So Cling to Dust it is. You keep saying this, but there's only one Cling to Dust in the deck. And it feels like I've wanted more than one. Let's see. I don't think there's anything I want to change up. Stern Scolding, maybe. They showed us Seasoned Pyromancer and Ice Till Explorer that Stern Scolding hits. But I just don't think there's anything I want to be... Maybe it's better than Push. I could buy into that. Ooh, that's a good call on Vexing Bauble. I didn't think about that. Board out like a counter spell. I don't really want to board out a counter spell. What about this other Push? Push is stupid. I don't need Push. Seen enough anime to know what happens when tentacle monsters attack. Yeah, I didn't think about Vexing Bauble with Omniscience. That's pretty hot. It's pretty hot and pretty right here. His hand is hot. I wish this hand had like another fetch instead of Undercity Sewers. Oh, you definitely hold up turn one stub against a deck with like Utopia Sprawls. 100%. Apologize in advance if Vexing Bauble is ass here. It's just we know who to blame and who to tar and feather in the streets afterwards. It's fine. Come on, give me one of those sweet, sweet Utopia sprawls. I never knew what hit them. Get it out of here. Get it out of here. Okay, so that's not quite a shadow next turn. But it is a chunky nether goyf. I know we're helping Delirium. The real Delirium is the friends you make along the way. All right, just pass it back. No, no, stop it. Traverse, Utopia Sprawl, Unholy Heat Commercial District. So they get a commercial district. They don't get anything crazy. Or no, they got Utopia Sprawl. Okay. Thank you. You the real MVP. So you got a bunch of magic cards that don't really do anything. Am I taking Ice Till or am I planning on countering Ice Till? Because I could just take Rumble. Yeah. Take the dig piece. And then see what they do here. If they block with the Eldrazi spawn, we play Shadow Vexing Bauble. If they don't block with the spawn, we hold up Counterspell. Do it. Do it. Cast the Ice Till. Look into my eyes and see the end is nigh. All right, so we hit for 4 here, and we've got potentially 9 next turn. Vexing Bauble. Shadow. Go. Discard Emrakul beside you. Keep Commercial District. So you die. Ha 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 ha. Ain't afraid of no Ice Tills up in here. Let me reset Moto real quick. It's getting a little laggy. Vexing Bobble confirmed MVP. 100% rate on casting Vexing Bobble and opponent not being around anymore the next turn. Never seen a more potent Magic card. I will say so far, I stand by my sentiment when I started this league that Moonshadow has not impressed me. Not only has Moonshadow not impressed me, Moonshadow betrayed us against Zoo and was part of the reason for our downfall and our one loss. So not only has it not impressed me, it has actively been harmful to my shadow playing existence to register Moonshadow. It's going to be another Moonshadow. Hollow one. Moonshadow is in fact a traitor. I saw it. I witnessed it with my own oculars. Why does everyone seem to praise Moonshadow recently? Is it just flavor of the month? I honestly couldn't tell you. Like, I don't know why. I don't know, like, what kind of lines people are seeing that's making it look really good, but I just haven't seen those lines. Just got to hit the Moonshadow, Bobble, Street Wraith, Fetch Land hand. So you just have to hit like the absolute nuts to make this card playable, is what you're telling me. Like, hey, this card's good if you just hit literal perfect. It's a high ceiling, low flow or low floor card. And I would agree with that, except I just haven't seen the high ceiling. Like, I've seen the low floor a lot, and it seems like the low floor is more of the average than it is the floor. So on average, I've had Moonshadow as like a 2-2. And occasionally it gets up to a 3-3. And that's cool. Never, I think one time, maybe twice, I've seen it beyond a 3-3. I'm just gonna throw the Nether Roy from front of this. Like, Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Moonshadow into Frog feels so good. But is it feels good, or is it is good? I think that's like a big part of the disparity that gets skipped over. Because like, if it's just, oh, this is a fun line that happens every now and then, that's great, but that's not like winning games of Magic. I kind of just want to go Fetch, Shock, Shadow, Nethergoyf. Frog is the good card in this combo. I agree. Like, going Nethergoyf or going Moonshadow into Frog is cool. How much better would it have been if you went Thoughtseize into Frog? I've had the nut of Moonshadow, Overlord, Hexmage, the Overlord attack trigger, Overlord in the Shadows of 5/5, but it's in line with you that it's a nut draw. It's a nut draw, and it's also a case where you're probably just winning that because of Overlord Hexmage, right? Like, the Moonshadow's just sort of there. Like, it might be a little bit of extra vanilla damage, and that's cool. But I just don't know if it's enough to, like, win you games. Speaking of enough to kill me, opponent's got 2 Detectives Phoenixes in their yard. They would have to exile the Vengevine at the moment to Phoenix up a Mako. Or no, never mind, they wouldn't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I just can't count. Moonshadow just needs help, and in my opinion, that's not usually a good thing in Modern. Right, like, once you start saying, oh, this card is good if you're able to do this other thing that's good on its own, then that first card kind of gets pushed out. Like, oh, if you have a Moonshadow into Frog, and your Frog is able to discard a bunch of cards and attack, then your Moonshadow's really good because of that. Sure, but you just had a Frog discarding things and attacking. Like, the Moonshadow's not really changing that equation. All right, well, I got no blockers. Am I dead? If I'm not dead, you're dead. All right, so they got a lightning bolt. So this is going to come down to Street Raid cycle for a stub. Who's ready? One-time deck. No. No. It's going to be the next card, isn't it? All right. Feel a little bit better. Stern Scolding, I definitely want. Cling to Dust, I definitely want. Tarfire. Everything else is kind of mid. trim on a couple of wraiths. Thoughtseize. Turn 1 Moonshadow confirmed good this matchup. Well, let's see. Turn 1 Moonshadow. Like this. This is the situation that makes me feel really awkward about Moonshadow. I can give up my Surveil to play like turn 2 Moonshadow fetch push. Or I can fetch and give up that trigger for Moonshadow to play out the Moonshadow. Or I got an island that's not doing anything for me. All right, so if we're turn 2 Surveil push, here's where Moonshadow gets awkward to me. If I Surveil and I don't flip over a permanent, then my Moonshadow is just a 1/1. Which is actively not good for me. So I kind of want to save the polluted delta for the guaranteed fetch. It also means that I would have to fetch up like a blood crypt on turn 1, which puts my counter spell even farther off. All to set up this Moonshadow, which I think I'm going Surveil into turn 2. Why would you need Blood Crypt over another land? Because I need to get red at some point. Like, I brought in additional red cards. Now I don't have the Steam Vents. I don't have Steam Vents. Steam Vents gone. Steam Vents no be got. Man. That Moonshadow was not very long for this world. Ox of Agonis. It ate 2 removal spells. Well, Stubborn Denial ate 1 of those. So it was just a 2-for-2 trade. I think I'm just letting this go. That didn't change very much. Now I know they still have Ox of Agonis in their deck. or in their hand. All right. Attempt 2, Electric Boogaloo. This Moonshadow is about to get Bowmastered, and I'm going to cry. I swear. I swear. If they want to waste their Bowmaster on it, perf. They're not wasting their spells, though. Like, they're turning their dead cards into removal spells. That's not wasting. So I could draw first. I could go for like Cling to Dust on Burning Inquiry or something. But then I don't have Cling to Dust for this Detective's Phoenix, which can be very problematic. And I would have to hit exactly Street Wraith that I boarded 2 out. All right, Frog, I need you, buddy. You're the best frog there ever was. Cycle a hollow one. Does this mean I want to just go ahead and cling this Detective's Phoenix? Kind of. Don't you dare 4th lightning bolt me. All right, sure. Something, something. Why would you want to get Blood Crypt early? Something. Need to get red mana at some point. We're going to rough spot if they find the 5th land for this Ox of Agonis. See why you need red now. I would like to be able to cast these spells. Show me, I don't know, something. I think I'm just going to Fatal Push the Orc army here. So if they want to block with the Detective's Phoenix. You have the worst top decks. I'm aware. I try to explain to people whenever I play Magic that I have got abysmally bad luck. I know that I do. I am well aware of it. My luck is absolute shit. So if I play a bunch of cards that have a high ceiling and a low floor, I will never see the high ceiling. Never in a million years will I see this like broken side of the cards. So I have to play things that play into that. And at the moment, this Moonshadow card is not playing into that. Have you considered drawing better here? Only every day of my life. Every single day I wake up and I think to myself, if only I had drawn better right there. Well, there's Ox. Feel that? That's why I don't open packs. Truth. We're going to Ox plus Detective's Phoenix. Bowman to the face, then Ox. Hasty Ox. Hasty Ox with a Vengevine. See, it's spots like this where like I can't play one of Cling to Dust because it's just not good. Either one, like those first couple of games, I don't see it, or two, I see it like here, but I don't see 4th land to escape it. I don't see a great target for it. So I kind of just get stuck in no man's land on some of these plays. Okay. Now that we finally hit the expressive iteration, I could look for Fatal Push plus something. That doesn't kill the Ox. I don't think we have any way in the 75 of getting this Ox off the battlefield. We've already seen Seal. We've got Fatal Pushes. Those don't hit it. Because we've already seen Seal, we can't draw Tar Fire to double up on it. If I attack, I'm getting pinged down to 9, which means I'm forced to chump block Ox. They have a Detective's Phoenix in the yard with enough cards to cast it. I think we can squeeze a Thundering Falls into the mana base. I think we could also add a second Cling and third Consign, cutting the spheres. I would be on board with those changes. I'll say Moonshadow looks a lot better when opponent doesn't draw 3 bolts and 12 cards. 3 bolts and a Bowmasters. But it's just like, that's the floor of the card. And even if we didn't have that floor, like let's say our first Moonshadow didn't get bolted. You know what it is right now? It's a 3/3, maybe a 4/4, but it's not doing anything significant in that time. I want to be dead to a lightning bolt. Moonshadow's floor seems very similar to the Marauding Mako. When that set came out, I really thought Mako was completely unplayable, even in Hollow One. I think it's a very different very different set of circumstances around the 2 cards. Because, like, Marauding Mako is exponentially easier to trigger because you get to trigger it with, like, your Faithless Lootings or Fable of the Mirror Break or whatever, discarding any card, not just a permanent card. So it's easier to trigger. Oh, and like Burning Inquiries and Goblin Lores and all that stuff are triggering it. And then the Moonshadow, if you discard 3 permanents, you get 1 counter removed. But Mako adds a counter for each individual card discarded. So it grows a lot faster, a lot easier. So it's just the setup on that card is a lot less nuanced. Plus, you have a much bigger payoff. Like in this deck, you cycle a Street Wraith to take a counter off your Moonshadow. Your payoff for that is that you still have to lose more life to get a Death Shadow down. or if you Mishra's Bauble to get a counter on your Moonshadow, your payoff is that hopefully your Nethergoyf gets one more power, but there's chances you already have an artifact and it doesn't get one more power. Whereas a deck like Hollow One with Mako, you're discarding and your payoff is your Mako's a 3/3 or a 4/4 with a Burning Inquiry. Maybe you get Phoenix in the yard. Maybe you get Ox of Agonis in the yard. Maybe you get Vengevine in the yard. It's just a lot more options, or it's a lot more universal benefit from those actions. This is like the most commercial district decks I've seen in a single day. All right. So I'm going to play out the first Moonshadow. This could be Storm. Do I care if this is Storm? A little bit. How does this clock change? If I Moonshadow here, next turn, second Moonshadow, fetch, Mishra's Bauble, hit for 3. Turn 4, fetch a Surveil, 4/4, flip over a permanent, 5/5. Guess it doesn't really matter if it's going that far down the road. All right, so it is Storm, and they have double mana reducers. Yikes. So do I want to just take... Man, they got double reducers, double payoff. Surely we draw interaction. So... Welcome to the world of Michael playing Magic the Gathering. If it's your first time here, this is pretty much the norm. The decisions, they don't matter. I'm just going to play out Frog. I'm not going to show them Moonshadow, so maybe things change game 3. Also, if they whiff, Frog gives me a better chance of getting it out of, or getting me out of it. Mike might be cursed. I try to tell people, let them think we're just a mirror. That's my plan at the moment. Just go crazy. Show me what you got. But yeah, this is just why I don't register high roll decks. Don't show them the unplayable cards in our deck. Save ourselves the embarrassment. like for everybody who's been here for a normal stream during the day, there's always these really funny lines that show up where I'll say something along the line of like, what is the most ridiculous out of the box line my opponent could come up with that I lose to? And how do I play around that? And I always get comments in chat about, oh, like, why'd you play around X? Nobody ever plays that card. And then my opponent does. And all I can think is like, this is why I play around that thing that nobody ever expected to play around, because it shows up and I know my luck. People are brewing around with Moonshadow, or is it a thing already? They're definitely brewing around with it. I wouldn't know. I don't think I would call it necessarily a thing yet, but it's a card people are trying out. Well, if Ral doesn't flip here, okay. I'm not sure how we're still alive, but we're still alive. So my goal here is to figure out what I can do to maximize my chances of not dying next turn. Or if I can't do that, how do I kill them? I don't think Nethergoyf has got like any real place in the equation. So it's probably going to end up becoming discard fodder. All right. Is this kill the Ral right now? Or is this wait to see if they go off and try to kill the Ral right before it flips? I think it's just kill the Ral right now. Punished. Punished. Come up with an argument and the argument sucks. Wiltron laughs in Burning Inquiry. Yeah, play out your turn one Moonshadow. It's really good into Burning Inquiry. Opponent bolt, 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 Bowmaster. Maybe playing Second Shadow is wrong. Well, the argument for playing Second Shadow was trying to end the game next turn. So if opponent doesn't kill me here, I've got discard, discard, fly frog, 12 exactly, and they're dead. Show me the past in flames. They're digging for past in flames. Can you say better lucky than good? So now we can just kill them with stubborn denial back up. Play to your outs, kids. Even if they're not great, play to them. Most undeserving win of all time, right there. Incredible considering we had already mentally moved on from this game on turn one. Sometimes it's worth making them kill you or not. I'm kind of thinking I want to board out a land here. Shadow used to do that against like Amulet Titan and Tron and stuff. You'd board out a land post board because like if you flood out, it's a death sentence. So just lowering the curve a little bit. I'm kind of considering doing it. I kind of want to hit second land and then like never hit another one. Let's do it. I love that our win condition that game was let storm loose to itself. Our win condition was go take a nap and come back and hope opponent was just too bored to kill us. Strike it rich. Oh no. Never mind. This matchup is almost unlosable. Why do you bring that bad juju on me? Who are you helping by saying that? Not me. Jinxed indeed. I don't know. I know that I've told the story on stream, but it's been like years since I have. So I'm sure there's some people lurking around that haven't heard it. But the entire reason that I started streaming and like content creation in the first place was because I kept running into this situation in like the Death Shadow Facebook groups where I'd try to have a discussion on a matchup. So, for example, Grixis Death Shadow versus Tron. I try to have this discussion on the matchup, and I'd always get these responses that were like, oh, Tron's a buy. You just Thoughtseize into Thoughtseize Shadow into Thoughtseize Battle Rage them with a stub up, and they just die. And I'm like, okay, that's great. But what if you don't? Like, what if you don't have the absolute nuts against them every single time? What's the backup plan? And I would just keep getting all these answers that were like, no, it's easy. It's such a free matchup. Like, okay, let's put that to the test. And we went out and started streaming a bunch of Grixis Shadow and finding out that, like, oh, a lot of these matchups that people in the Facebook group were saying were free were not, in fact, free. And some of these other matchups that people were having a lot of trouble with, like, we were doing well against. And it's like, oh, so what you're telling me is the actual data we have gathered out here is different from the data that you're claiming in these matches. Tron, definitely not a buy. Definitely not. But when you're a Facebook player living in magical Christmas land and you just every opening hand is triple Thoughtseize Shadow Battle Rage 3 lands, then yeah, Tron is a buy with a stub in there. Bench, what's up? Thought Mike was the founder of Facebook Shadow. Hell no. Hell no. Absolutely not. Those people are nuts. People are lying on Al Gore's internet. Unfortunately, they are. Ral Monsoon Mage. What you got? Go ahead and pass the turn. Pass it. Pass. There we go. So let's get a Watery Grave. Go ahead and cling to dust this prismatic ending so we can try to find a fatal push. Didn't find a fatal push, but I think I'm gonna discard Frog Shadow here. I want to get extra damage in. I want to get extra damage in. I want to play out this second frog or that. And I want to set up being able to have Stubborn Denial live. Does this only trigger on their turn? I did not know that. Huh. So Ral specifies that whenever you cast an instant or sorcery during your turn, flip a coin. I have played against this card a good bit, and I never knew that was a line of text on it. Or like an additional clause. And I think I'm just going to pass here with double stub. Apparently, the opponent did not realize that either. Apparently not. That's good information to have in your back pocket. Please don't play another Ral. We just not. All right, that's fine. Mother. I hope everybody at home gets a bit of joy from my pain in these situations. Please don't have a Ral. Reckless Impulse. That's fine. Flip double Ral. Okay. So you've got a Ral in exile that's dead. Ooh. Opponent's getting greedy. We're going for a spliced desperate ritual here. I like to play fun cards in my deck to BH. Maybe that's why I don't win. Usually my goal whenever I'm putting together a list is I want to put together a consistently 4-1 list. Like I'm not going to get a ton of trophies because again, I want like a high floor. I don't want to have 0-3 drop leagues. I don't want to have anything like that. I just want to consistently 4-1. And to me, that is a success. Because that means I can go to a big event, go 12-3, cash. It was my experience with Black, Green, and Jund, only 3-2 and 4-1, which goes infinite on Moto. People always like underestimate that point. So they've got 3 cards left. I think I want to just stub this. I get to untap, have 2 frog hits, take out the Ral. They don't get to play this other Ral from exile unless 2 of their 3 cards are land in another ritual. So I get, oh no, oh no. Why do I say these things? Why? Who am I helping? Don't you dare do it. Don't you dare do it. Grape shot. Sure. Can we ban the blue-white control player? Who's the blue-white control player? Who's the dirty, filthy blue-white control player in my chat? That's a pretty good draw. Okay. I've got an active Psychic Frog. I'm just going to counterspell this. I don't think there's any real reason to mess around and let it resolve. Been playing Frog longer than I've been playing Blue-White, to be fair. Same. I've been playing Frog a lot longer than I've played Blue-White. I'll just let them have the mana at this point. I think that's a fair take to just let them have the mana. I don't think there's a problem with that argument, but I think the way that I lose is them going like mana reducer into Past in Flames off the top. And now like Past in Flames off the top isn't killing me, especially because I have the Cling to Dust. So it's just taking an out off the table. All jokes aside, I think a weird domain game and losing to Rakdos Hollow One, the Grixis Shadow Shell strong, something here. I don't disagree for bits and pieces of it. I still don't think Moonshadow has done anything to impress me. I can see where it could have some obscene draws every now and then. There's the Past in Flames. But I think the average draws to me weren't quite up to par. I think that I would like to play some more copies of Interaction that I think is a little stronger at the moment. So, for example, I really like Cling to Dust at the moment. I think this card does a lot of work in a lot of matchups. I would like an additional copy, at least, of that. There's some cards like Tarfire. I understand the argument for them. I just don't think by itself it's a strong enough card to warrant a sideboard spot. I think I would like to find something to replace that. And then, like, Consigned to Memory, for example, I think is really, really good in Eldrazi, which is kind of everywhere. So I wouldn't mind finding an additional copy of that. As far as the main board goes, I was a lot more impressed with Nethergoyf than I was with Moonshadow. So I could very easily see these Moonshadows becoming another card that helps out the rest of the plan. Even like a couple Battle Rages I would have been happy with. Just, it seems like there's a lot of times where you want to get the game over with now. like right this second. A lot of decks you don't know what's going on. A lot of decks that can kill you out of nowhere. And I don't feel like the grind ability is there in this 75. Um, so I wouldn't mind just having like that oops, I win button. But it's not like uh it's not me saying I want to play Teamer Battle Rage because I think Battle Rage is good. But it just feels like it's almost a necessity.